What is talking to be right?
Debate beliefs. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know things has yet to be ascertained. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know things has yet to be ascertained. Police.
What is talking to be right? Because there's different reasons why people talk. What's a reason why you might talk other than to be right? Jackie?
To be annoying?
You might choose to talk to be annoying. What's another reason why you might want to talk other than to be right, Eileen?
To be funny.
To be funny. Okay, how about you, Tyler? What's another?
Convince others of what you feel?
Convince others what you feel. I really feel this. I may not be right, I may be wrong, it doesn't matter, 'cause I really feel this. But this stuff, debate, logic, discourse, rhetoric, dialectic, it's about who's right and who's wrong. In other words, it's fundamentally adversarial. Adversarial means your adversaries, you're not on the same team. Opposite teams. Which is what this is, dialectic or dialectical reasoning. Same team equals dialectic. Even if you're on the same team, you use the same skills, it's just neither side attached to their conclusions. So an adversarial approach means you are married to your conclusion. Married to your conclusion. If it's adversarial, you are married to your conclusion. What does this mean? In a debate round, your goal is to prove your side of the resolution correct, whichever side you happen to get in the round, whether it's half or nay. So it doesn't matter what else happens in the round, you're going to insist that on the overall point, you are correct, and your opponent is wrong. You are married to your conclusion. Correct about what? Your side of the resolution. If the resolution is we should eat cheese, and you are aft, then you are married to the conclusion that we should eat cheese. If you are neg, you are married to the conclusion that it is not the case that we should eat cheese. So things that are exclusionary and negationary, that's all part of this. Things that are additionally adversarial, that's part of debate. It's not necessarily part of logic, it's not necessarily part of discourse, it's part of rhetoric. It's not necessarily part of dialectic. Talk about whether your arguments are married or single. If you are married to your conclusions, then you are arguing adversarially. If you are single in your conclusions, that is to say you are not married to your conclusions, you can change them up when you want to, then you are engaging dialectically. Now, what does this mean, negationary or additive? Well, if instead of negating what you say, I think we should all wear an orange hat on Wednesday. I go, that's a great idea. And how about we wear a yellow hat on Wednesday? I know that's a little different, but that way we can embrace the spirit of the idea and we get to all participate in it. I'm not really saying your orange hat idea is wrong. I'm not saying my yellow hat idea is better. I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just saying, hey, here's a way we can engage this idea more community-wise and less as a solo idea of yours. So that would be an additive kind of discourse. Discourse is a broader term than any of these other ones, really. It could include negationary or additive. It could include married or single, that is to say adversarial or dialectic. Discourse is the broadest of these terms. Takeaways again. Last time on takeaways. Number one, you have to know whether you are advocating for a conclusion or trying to figure out the truth. Are you trying to advocate something that you believe or that you're arguing for, whether you believe it or not? Or are you looking for the truth? If you are advocating, you already have decided what the status is. If you're deliberating, you're asking the question, should the United States do this? Let me think it out. So if you're looking to establish a status, that status is going to be correct, incorrect, right, wrong, legitimate, illegitimate, valid, invalid, or some other set of words like that. Correct. There is no dialectic. Which means you are always adversarial. You're not on the same team. You're not working to figure things out. You're not working to deliberate. You are working to advocate. Advocacy. All right? All right. Ask me whether I want an orange or a lemon, and I will deliberate. Oh gosh, let me think about this. Do I want an orange or a lemon? There's so many pros and cons to each one. An orange would be delicious, but a lemon is more yellow, and I like yellow better. Still, again, an orange has more pithy seeds inside of it, whereas the lemon could have seeds, but it depends what kind of lemon it is. I really need to check onto that. I'm deliberating. I am not advocating. Now, ask me the same question again. Tyler?
Lemon or orange?
The only choice that we can possibly take into consideration here is the orange. The orange is clearly the better choice, and everybody should choose the orange all the time. I've got a framework here and an underview, and then I've got 6 contentions, each by a different author. That's, what am I doing?
Advocacy.
Advocacy. Interfacing, that's neither of those things. So if you want to know what this stuff is in debate, this is speaker point nonsense, particularly with lay judges. Speaker points with lay judges. What is this stuff? Okay, well, I want to make sure I get the best speaker points, so I'm gonna wear a tie, and I'm gonna dress as nice as I can. And when I get to the front to talk to the judge, I'm gonna go like this. We cannot exchange our precious liberty for a few bits of safety. So said Thomas Jefferson, so say us all. Hi, my name's Eric, and today I'm here to convince you, that stuff is not any kind of argumentational stuff. It's not casework. It's not trying to parse out what's right or wrong. It's trying to position it well for you. So it's like, if I say to you, so Judge, I covered the floor better than my opponent, and I believe he dropped my 4th contention, and if you extend that like I did across the floor, then you should vote for me because, after all, it has most impact on the ground. Thank you. The end. I could also say, Judge, I have extended across the floor substantially better than my opponent, and you must vote for me because he dropped my contention 4. I've extended it across the floor. It's got terminal impacts, and it is the voter in the round. I said exactly the same thing in both instances. One of them conveys sort of debate-like perceptual dominance modes. I mean, I think doing it like that, exaggerated like that, is silly, you know, but a lot of debaters do that. And the point is, they're trying to do what? If I'm just talking to you like this, okay, Judge, so I've extended across the floor and my opponent has dropped my 4th contention, and my 4th contention is definitely a voter because it's got the most terminal impacts and you should vote for me in the round, then it's hard for anybody to follow along with what you're doing and what your key points are. Where do I go? Judge, my opponent has dropped my 4th contention, and it is a voter. Extended across the floor. I've extended it in all of my speeches. It stands. It has not been answered at all. And this is enough for me to win the round. It is a voter. Terminal impacts win this round. I'm saying exactly the same thing, but I'm driving home the point of the second one. Yeah. All right, look. So, justifications, these are the engines of debate. There are 5 engines of debate: justifications, responsiveness, reciprocity, slope, and cascading. And I'll explain what all these things are in a second here. So, justification. This includes a claim that is warranted the claim is usually of an impact and it's warranted. What does this mean? It means a reason why a justification supports a given claim. A reason why justification supports a given claim, this is a warrant. We've talked about warrants a lot, but we've probably forgotten our definitions of things like this because it's been a long time since we've gone over it to something, okay? In debate, silence equals assent.
But is that like legal or something?
Huh?
Is that legal?
No, of course not.
Okay. Oh.
I'm saying in debate, silence equals assent. Because of the nature of debate, everyone has a responsibility. The reason silence equals debate and assent is because of reciprocity and burden and responsiveness burden as well. So what is responsiveness? If justifications are claims, warrants, and impacts, what are justifications, Eileen? Shh. What are justifications, Eileen?
Justifications are
Meow, meow, meow.
claims, warrants, and impacts.
Claims, warrants, and impacts. What are justifications?
Claims, warrants, and impacts.
In real life, if you say, honey, you told me you were going to take the trash out, and it's still right here in the middle of the walkway, and I told you I'm busy working right now, and she says,
No.
you know, last week you left the trash in the bathroom for 3 full days. That is not responsive. That does not address at least one element of my justification. If my claim is, you should take the trash out right now, honey, and my justification is, you told me you take the trash out, and my further impact is that it's in the way, so I need you to take the trash out or else I'll stumble over it or something, then you can address any of those elements of it. You can say, I did take the trash out already. That's new trash. You can address the fundamental claim. You could address the warrant. It's not full. There's still room. I just need to step on it a little bit. I could address the impact. It's good that it's in your way. It's a really good thing because that means you'll have to dance around it and it'll get you more exercise. And you need more exercise because you're sitting too much at work. That's an impact turn. Okay? To respond is to address at least one element of the opponent's justification directly. If I say, oh yeah, well last week you left the bathroom trash in there for 3 days, is that addressing any element of my justification directly? No. It is making a separate claim. So if you say to me, Eric, you said you're going to take the trash out, it's still sitting here. My first job is to go, okay, you're right, my bad, I'll take the trash out, blah, 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 blah. Then when I come back in, then I go, okay, now that I've done that and responded to you and agreed to you that you're right, I want to bring up a new claim to you. Because that first claim has been resolved at that point. The resolution was, Eric screwed up and he didn't take the trash out. And the aft won. My wife won. I conceded defeat. Why did I concede defeat? Because that's dialectic, not rhetoric. And in a relationship between two human beings, like a marriage or whatever, people should, as often as they possibly can, be engaged in dialectic, not rhetoric. Because what's the core difference between dialectic and rhetoric? The core difference is whether it is adversarial. Whether it's adversarial.
Oh.
Dialectic is not adversarial. That means we are not enemies. We are not adversaries. We are friends. We are not foes. We are pals. We are working together. We are teammates in the ideation process. If you want to have a good relationship with your own significant other when you get older, with your friends right now, if you want to help your parents have better relationships, or whatever, encourage everybody in your life to be responsive, because being responsive takes the other person seriously and hears what they say and responds to what they say and is more fair and leads to happier relationships and happier communications. Now, this next one, but not in debate, right, just in life. This one, reciprocity. In debate, you have to be responsive, but you only want to be responsive in ways that help yourself. You don't want to be responsive in ways that are fair. You want to be responsive in ways that are unfair. My opponent said this thing that represents half of what he said. And this thing that he said, that's actually only half of what he said, is absolutely deadly to him if he hadn't actually said this other stuff, right? We don't say those little things in parentheticals there. We just take advantage of any mistakes and or ways we can twist stuff to exploit it so that we win, because that's what debate is. But in a relationship, you don't want to do that. You want to actually respond to what the person says. You want to try to understand them and respond to what they mean to the best of your ability to understand that, even if they don't mean exactly what they say. For some people, words are more difficult than others. Reciprocity. I know we're getting up on a break here pretty soon. Reciprocity. We're going to have to go over this like we went over the last thing too, so be ready to go over it. This refers to the fact that in debate, there are fair things like burdens. Af has a burden to affirm, but in exchange they get fiat. The neg's job is to do what? Is it to negate the resolution?
Yes.
No. It is to stop the af from meeting its burden. What is the neg's job, Eileen?
To stop the act from the burden.
For meeting its burden. What is the job of the neg, Jackie?
To stop the act to meet its burden.
To prevent the af from meeting its burden. What is the af's burden?
To affirm.
To affirm the resolution.
Resolution.
What does it mean to meet the burden to affirm? You have paper. If you refuse to take notes, then draw a picture.
Ooh, that's what I did.
Thank you, Eileen. That's very wise of you. Time well spent. Don't let any teacher ever tell you otherwise. Drawing pictures is time well spent. Slope. Rhetorical slope is what this refers to. So if I say, well, I got here less than 10 minutes late today, that would be a very low slope claim. It's objectively true. I could prove it's true if I went back and looked at their security cameras, to make. It's very easy to prove that claim. It's very easy to win an argument about that claim. If somebody would have credited me, no, you were more than 10 minutes late. I saw you walk in at 1:45. I'd say, well, you were wrong. The point is, if I make a ridiculous claim, it's going to have a high slope, a steep slope. If I say, are you kidding me? I got here to class 12 hours early. I've been waiting outside since 1:30 a.m. It'd be hard to win an argument about whether or not that happened. If I tell my teacher, sorry I'm late, my mom was running late at home and she didn't get me into the car until too late, that's a believable excuse. Low slope. Maybe she's making fair about it.
Then we would be dead.
The point is, there's no reason to conclude just because she's not here that she's dead, and even if she were dead, there'd be no reason to conclude that Eileen killed her. So the point is that'd be a very steep slope to try to make that claim.
What this means is if I win a definition, for example, all instances of that word on both sides of the flow are understood using my definition.
So if I describe military regimes as red things with a flat part in the back and 4 legs that people sit upon, and I say, yeah, we should stop giving military aid to authoritarian regimes. After all, authoritarian regimes are just red things with a flat part and a tall part and 4 legs that you sit on. If I win the definitional argument, I'm going to win that round because it's a core definition in the round. If my opponent has won under a normal definition, that in fact we should keep giving military aid to authoritarian regimes, but I've won under my definition that authoritarian regimes are chairs, and if I win the definitional argument that we should use my definition over theirs, then I'm going to win that round because there's no reasonable way to claim that we should give military aid to chairs.
Claims towards an impact.
Correct. So if you're going to respond to somebody's justification, you need to either respond to the claim, you need to respond to the warrant, you need to respond to the impact. If you make your own claim that's not responsive to their claim, warrant, or impact, are you being responsive? No. Clash comes from responsiveness. When 2 debaters are brand new and they just want to debate past each other, each debating their own side and not responding to the other one, it said there's no clash in the round. Okay? Clash is what produces clarity regarding who wins a round. We haven't got it yet. Okay, look, skew. Skew refers to the way in which a resolution is fair for one side or both sides or not fair. If I have a resolution that says, resolved, Everybody should be forced at gunpoint to wear a hat on Wednesday.
What?
That would skew which direction? Is it easier to affirm that resolution or negate it?
Negate.
So that would be said to skew nay.
Because it's very stupid.
Another way there's reciprocity in debate is a well-written resolution by everybody's understanding is one that doesn't skew at all. In warrants, there's reciprocity in warrants. What that means, I can use your logic against you. If you say, no, we shouldn't give military aid to authoritarian regimes because we should never give aid to anybody who might misuse it, then I can say, well, by that logic, we should never give aid to anybody, anywhere, anytime, because we can't predict with 1,000% certainty that they're going to use it in the way we predict they're going to use it. And so if simply the possibility they're going to misuse it justifies us not giving aid, then really what you're saying is we should never give aid to anyone because we can't perfectly predict how they're going to use it. However, note that if we use this logic, that means we should not feed our children because we don't know if they're going to use the food correctly. After all, they may spit some of it out. They may eat it and then use that new energy to rob a bank or something. Since we can't say for 100% sure, we ought not feed them. After all, they're dependent on it, so it's a form of charity to give them food, it's a form of aid. By my opponent's logic, if we want to apply my opponent's logic, we will stop, in fact, giving military to authoritarian regimes. We will also stop feeding our children.
Yeah.
So, if you want all the children to starve, vote for my opponent. What's slope?
How hard an argument to win?
How hard is an argument to win? What's slope?
How hard is an argument to win?
If it has a steep slope, it's hard to win. If it has a flat slope, it's easy to win. Eileen is eating an orange. Flat slope. Tyler is eating an octopus. Steep slope. What does it mean to say something cascades? What are we referring to if something cascades? Eileen? Are we referring to the lame jerk?
We're referring to.
We're referring to.
We're referring to the framework.
Correct. We aren't referring to the lame jerk. We're referring to the framework. Okay? What does it mean to say that framework cascades, Jackie?
It means that if we win.
Put it this way. To say that framework cascades is to say this. If I win the definition that your mom's face is manure, then we all agree that we should plant vegetables in her face. Okay? If I win the definition. Should I win that definition?
Yeah.
Why not?
Unless it's your mom.
No, why shouldn't I win it? Why? What here? Tell us why I shouldn't win it.
Because no one wants their mom's face to be manure.
Why shouldn't I win it according to these words and things on the board here?
Because it's skewed.
Just a defeat.
Because the claim that your mom's face is manure,
It's not true.
It's an opinion.
it has a blank, blank.
What? Who was that?
The claim that your mom's face is manure has
A deep slope.
a steep slope. So what does it mean to say something cascades?
On to.
It means it has the ability to impact your opponent's flow. If I win the definition about your mom's face, it's not just your mom's face is manure on my case, your mom's face is manure in your own case too. Because I won the framework, it cascades down.
Debate believe all the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know, things has yet to be ascertained. All the people with their arguments state their claims with such confidence. If or not they know, things has yet to be ascertained. Police.
Now, every time my opponent uses the word my mom's face, you can replace that with manure. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to explain it, Chief.